let's move on to I think one of the more exciting games over the weekend. The Buccaneers beating the Washington football team. I think I just want to talk about Taylor Heinicke. Like, we know what the Buccaneers are. They have one of the best offenses. Brady's been playing great, but Taylor Heinicke may have just earned himself a job. He's PFF's highest graded quarterback over the wild card weekend, and I think Ron Rivera somehow he finds this guy off a practice squad, and he might have just earned himself a job because he played unbelievable.
No, I agree. He really played his butt off, and for him to play as well as he did, coming off the practice squad, regardless of what team you're playing for and what team you're playing against, just wow. I mean, it blew me away watching that game, and he's probably the offensive reason why Washington was even able to stay with Tampa Bay till the second half of the game. Just that's a guy that's worth building around, especially since he's a practice squad guy. So you're gonna have him for cheap. You
Well,
know, it
they're going
makes
to have to sign him to an actual contract now
yeah,
because
but
if
they're
he was
not
a,
gonna
because
sign.
he was
Yeah,
a
but
great
one game
contract.
doesn't all of a sudden make you a $15 million man.
Oh, I agree. I agree. I'm just saying you're going to have to roll out some sort of multi-year deal to keep him because
It'll
I
be
mean,
a it'll be a 2 year, $25 million contract.
well, I no, I yeah, and I agree. I just
Maybe like 23 or
it's
22. I don't
really
know.
rare that this guy comes in like a practice squad guy. Like, we haven't seen something like this since like maybe what, Kurt Warner, right? Like, and I don't want to say I don't think he's Kurt Warner. I don't think he's one of the all-time great quarterbacks, but for a team like Washington that's picking what, 20th, 19th in the draft now, um, and they're going to miss out on the top quarterback prospect. This is a sign of hope for them. So, they could continue to build around him, maybe get an offensive lineman or a receiver, and just kind of build around Taylor Heinicke to see what you can do, because Washington made the playoffs with rotating doors at quarterback. Like, you had Dwayne Haskins, who's not even on the team anymore, going to the strip club. Alex Smith and all his injury history. You had one other guy before you found Heinicke, and I mean, his interception wasn't even his fault. I mean, it was tipped. I mean, so, and I think the real thing that kind of impressed me about Heinicke is his ability to run the football. 6 carries, 46 yards, and a touchdown. Um, the leading rusher on his team as well. I think that he, for this game, played better than Alex Smith would have, because Smith isn't as mobile as Heinicke is, and Heinicke was able to escape pressure. He's going up against Todd Bowles, the Buccaneers defensive coordinator, who loves to blitz. Alex Smith, would not have been able to escape. He's an injury-prone, non-mobile guy, and Heinicke's ability to escape running the football, I think it really fits with this Washington football team that has such a shaky offensive line. Um, there's not much I want to talk about on the Buccaneers side of the ball, other than the fact that Tom Brady's playing great and they have a really good receiving core. So,
I mean, Tampa Bay to me is just basically the Pro Bowl roster of 2012. Basically, you have all these guys who were somewhere in the Pro Bowl from 2010 to 2013, basically all joining forces, all being coached by one person, all wearing the same uniforms and all that, and then just seeing what they can do talent wise. And so far, it's looking good. And they're being luckily led by one of the greatest quarterbacks, if not the greatest quarterback of all time, as much as that hurts me to say as a Raider fan. But and they're so far playing good. They're not playing consistent, but they're playing good. And I don't know how far they'll get them into the playoffs. It's just something that we'll have to see one week at a time. I don't really see them making it past the divisional round, as they got to play the Saints for the third time.
something we'll talk about later, or in a future show. Obviously, they're taking on the Saints. We'll give our predictions for that game on our next show.